and we're very excited because this is our first live Zoom class. This is a kind of a huge thing for us. We originally started as a POC class for the yoga group Posers, which is a donation-based yoga community here in Seattle, Washington. And a member of that group named Chastity started this POC class. We used to meet Tuesdays at 6:15 at Dance Underground in the before times. And when COVID hit, we immediately took a hiatus. We said, as people of color, we'd like to rest at this time and not, get caught up in the hustle. But as things progress, this year, we found ourselves in the very interesting position of being asked to teach yoga at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. At the time, that's what it was called, now known as the CHOP. And so that kind of marked the resurgence of Liberation Flow, which is kind of cool, right? Like, we didn't intend to come back in such a in such a way, but I think this is the time for it, especially with Black Lives Matter, that movement being one of the largest movements in American history. We felt that a large part of our mission should be to bring a resilience practice to people of color now more than ever, because it's a really difficult time to exist in this country and be a person of color and not feel very heightened levels of anxiety or rage or just uneasiness, uncertainty. And so myself, I know that yoga has been a practice that has allowed me to find a lot of peace, a lot of comfort within myself, a lot of ability to cope with some things without reaching for typical coping mechanisms, without reaching beyond myself for validation, just really bringing myself back into center, back into wholeness. So yoga means union. That's a very simplistic, I guess, definition, but the way that I see it is it's the union between your mind and your body through the conduit of your breath. So I think that society at large kind of benefits from separating our minds from our bodies, right? Like it creates this need, and we fill it with stuff. And it's basically fuel for capitalism, which, as hopefully you all know, is kind of the root of some of our problems, our systemic problems. So that's what I personally take from this practice of yoga is the resilience to come back into myself, come back into center, unite my mind with my body, and know that that we are all infinite and that we all deserve to be here. Okay, cool. So that spiel out of the way. As you know, this is a class for people of color. We are a donation-based class, but we do not actually ask our direct students to contribute that much. We actually have a lot of white allies following us on our account, and they've been really generous with their contributions. So if you feel like you cannot donate to us today, do not worry about it. You are paid for. We're trying to make this as accessible as possible. Cool. So today our class will be a vinyasa class. I previously taught hot yoga for a time, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to go as hard as a hot yoga class, but I do want us to kind of build some heat today. That said, please go at your own pace. Do not feel if I'm cueing an inhale or an exhale that you have to be right on cue with that. We'll all typically meet in the same place periodically throughout class today in that downward dog position. What else do I want to say about class today? We'll start out pretty slow. Then we'll work into some sun salutations, and then we'll do kind of a mandala flow, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm really excited to lead you through it. And then we'll do some balance, and then we'll be done. We'll do some cool down, and we'll be done. I think that's all I have to say before class. Please have some water nearby. We'll take a break before our balancing section. And yeah, let's get started. Please find a nice comfy seat with your tailbone rooted down into the ground or the floor, wherever you are. And we'll take some time to arrive in class today. If it's helpful for you, you can sit your sits bones up on a block. This helps rotate the pelvis, allows the seat to sit more firmly. And if it feels comfortable for you in your space to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. And I'd like to start class with a group Om. If oming or chanting is not authentic to you, welcome to stay silent. But Om is a secular chant. It is the sound of the creation of the universe reverberating throughout time and space. And it's a very simple sound. Think of it spelled A-U-M, so your mouth will open wide, ah, and then carry through the U, and then that sound at the end. Okay, so we're going to do 3 rounds of Om. All right, take a breath in. And then exhale, open mouth. And take another breath in, prepare for Om. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your open mouth. And since I won't be able to be in the room with you all, obviously, keep in mind I'm doing all the poses as we go, but really trust yourself to take care of yourself and take care of your body as we move through practice. We'll start in a child's pose. So you can start with a seat on your knees, like this. And then sit your hips back down to meet your heels. And then you can fold forward, draping your body over your legs. You're welcome to bring your hands forward ahead of you or drape them to your sides. Palms face up or face down. And start to notice your breathing. Start to notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Don't try to manipulate or change the breath. Just notice. Now begin to bring your awareness to the outside experience, the external experience around you. Feel the ground beneath you, the ground or the floor beneath you. Start to understand its texture. Feel the contact of your body on the ground. Take a moment to notice the air around you, the temperature. Is it cool? Is it warm? Notice the sensation of the clothes on your body. Are they loose? Are they tight? Notice your proximity to the walls around you or the nearest building and the nearest person, or maybe an animal that you have at home. And as you begin to notice all of these things, bring your awareness and your attention back to your breath. And yoga starts with listening. So not just listening to the instructor, not just listening to my voice, but listening and noticing what's going on with you, what's going on in your body, what's going on in your mind. And take a moment and come back to the mind that is always thinking, always creating a narrative, maybe judging, maybe planning. Take a moment and see if you can start to detangle yourself from your thoughts. And notice in the act of observing your thoughts that you are not your thoughts. Now come back to the breath and we'll start to breathe a little deeper. Inhale through the nose, deep into the low belly, and start to fill up the vessel of your torso. Expand the rib cage, let the breath fill up to the chest and hold. And then exhale, open mouth, send it all out. Again, inhale slowly, filling up from the low belly, up the rib cage, up the chest. And hold. And now exhale, empty out from the belly, from the rib cage and the chest. From here, we'll start the Ujjayi Pranayama, the upward victorious breath. And this breath is going to carry us through class. It's going to drive our focus and build heat. And when you start to feel that you're drifting away from class, you're drifting away from your focus, use this breath to come back to your body. It starts with an inhale through the nose, slight constriction to the back of the throat, dragging the air in, making a snoring sound. And with the lips sealed, exhale through the nose, making that same snoring sound. And as you breathe like this, you might imagine the tides of the ocean, inhaling, pulling in towards the shore, exhaling, pushing out towards the horizon. Take a couple of breaths like this and start to bring some movement into the body. You might shift from side to side. Follow the natural rhythm of your body. Press into the earth. Allow your shoulders to shimmy. And we'll start to come up to a tabletop position. Make your way there slowly. You might take a couple of just movements on your own, maybe rolling out the wrists, maybe bending the elbows back and forth. You might tap out the tops of the feet, drumming them into the ground or the floor. Excellent. And when you've settled, go ahead and come to a neutral tabletop. Allow the crown of your head to face towards the front of your mat. Extend the tailbone towards the back of the mat. Press into the mat with open palms, pressing your knuckles and finger pads into the mat. And feel the rooted groundedness beneath you. Feel that the ground has you. Feel the stability of the earth beneath you. And then come back to the Ujjayi breath, breathing through the nose, into the nose and out through the nose. On an inhale, we'll get a cow pose. Dip the navel down towards the mat and lift the eyes up towards the ceiling or the sky and tilt your pelvis up. And pause and breathe. And on your exhale, find cat pose. Send your spine into a curl. Look in towards your navel and tuck your pelvis inward. And pause and breathe. Beautiful. Inhale, cow pose. Lift your gaze, send your navel down. And exhale, cat pose. Tuck the pelvis. Send the navel up towards the ceiling, the sky, and look in. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And now take the next couple of rounds of breath to find your own rhythm. You can keep doing cat-cow, or you can maybe roll out the neck, maybe undulate the spine in a way that feels comfortable for you, or you can even press back into a child's pose. Whatever feels authentic to you, take that time to move through your own rhythm. And if you're doing maybe barrel rolls or some sort of undulation to one side, start to even up on the other. And we'll meet in a neutral tabletop in a couple of breaths. Sorry for the noise, my cat had to be let out. All right, we'll come to a neutral tabletop, pressing the palms of your hands down into the mat. Inhale, tuck your toes, press your toes into the mat. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips, lift your knees, lengthen the arms. Immediately start to move the legs. Maybe this is the first down dog of the day. So be a little active here. Maybe get a little funky with it. Maybe, twist a little bit. Something I like to do is to lift my heels all the way up and then drop them from side to side. And the thing about down dog is I feel like people think that their heels need to be on the floor. They don't. In fact, it's actually probably a good idea to start with your knees bent and your heels up high so that you can push your tailbone up towards the sky and really actually lengthen the spine. So allow your head to fall in between your arms and really feel the stretch in the back of your neck. Awesome. Okay, now come back into that breath, the Ujjayi Pranayama, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Excellent. One more time, we'll breathe together in through the nose and out through the nose. Next, inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat or blanket. Walk the feet up towards the hands. And then we'll find ourselves in this nice forward fold. Allow your head to hang heavy. With your feet rooted into the ground, you might twist from side to side. You might grab for opposite elbows. Come into maybe a soft bend in the knees here. Something I like to do is to bend my knees so much that my belly touches the tops of my thighs. I feel like it just kind of allows you to let go a little bit, let go of the judgment, let go of maybe some metaphorical stress. And then if you like, you can interlace your hands behind your back and allow that one fist to fall forward up above your head for a shoulder stretch. And on an exhale, release whatever bind you have and allow your hands to fall free before you. And then over the next couple of breaths, slowly start to come to standing. Root your feet into the earth and press up, allowing your spine to unravel slowly. And as you come up, you might bring your shoulders up towards your ears, roll them back down your spine. I like to exaggerate this motion because I tend to keep my shoulders up towards my ears. It's actually very hard to relax that way. So extend your shoulders up towards your ears and then really exaggerate dropping the shoulder blades down. And so we're at this standing pose, Samastitihi, which means equal on all sides standing pose. We're going to bring some attention to this pose because I think it's very important. One of our teachers says that this is a place where you can stand and think about what it feels like to stand in your own power, at attention, in your own awareness. Root down into your feet, the four corners of your feet. You might engage your legs so that your kneecaps might lift. Engage your quads. You might find a tuck or flare with the pelvis. Whatever actually feels neutral to you in your body, that might be different for everyone. So you might kind of like play with that. What feels neutral? And stack your heart over your hips. Relax your shoulders. Bring your palms down. You might face your palms forward, or you can bring your palms to heart center. And as you extend your crown upward, the top of your skull up towards the sky or the ceiling, you can close your eyes down if it feels comfortable for you. And I invite you to just take a moment for yourself. Give yourself a little bit of gratitude. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, now would be a good time to do so. Your next inhale, please flutter your eyes open. And exhale, open mouth, let it go. Inhale, send your hands up overhead, mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Lift your chest, allow the shoulder blades to come down, and then spin your pinkies in towards one another. And breathe. Feeling the extension of the spine, the fingertips up towards the sky, pressing down through the feet. And here you might engage Uddiyana Bandha. So picture your navel, your belly button, sinking back in towards your spine, and then pull it up towards your heart. And this is actually a bandha, is a lock in the body that protects the lower back and allows extension from the mid body and allows the low body to ground into the ground. And from here, take an inhale in and lift the chest. And then exhale, fold forward, dive forward. Now inhale, halfway lift, press your hands into your shins, extend the crown of your head forward. And then exhale, plant your hands into the ground, step your feet all the way back, and then lower all the way down onto the mat. And from here, we'll do cobra pose. So you're gonna press the tops of your feet into the mat. And with little to no weight in the hands, inhale, lift the chest, lift the head. Pause and breathe. Feel this posture in the body. Feel maybe the low spine start to contract. And breathe. Take an inhale, lift a little higher. And exhale, lower back down. Inhale, come up to tabletop. And exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Extend the arms. Wonderful. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of the mat. We'll do a couple of sun salutations. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale brings you all the way up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana, that mountain pose from before. We're gonna build from here. Exhale, baby back bend. Cactus the arms, bend at the elbows, lift the chest. This is a little back bend. You don't need to go to the fullest extent here. You're really just lifting your chest as much as you can and allowing the eyes to go upward. Inhale, lift back up to mountain pose. And then exhale, fold, dive deep. Inhale's halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands down on the ground, step your 2 feet backwards, plank pose. We're only gonna hold plank pose for just a little bit, but a little tip here, you can always do plank with your knees down, or you can come down to your elbows if that's a lot on your wrists. And wherever you are, go ahead and shift forward onto your toes. And then exhale, lower halfway down, bending the elbows about 90 degrees. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Lift your chest, straighten your arms, and then keep your legs engaged so that they are lifted up off of the mat. Take a breath in here. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay in downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. I'd like you to know that when I say move through your vinyasa today during class, you have a couple of options. You can inhale to cobra, the low cobra that we just did, or you can inhale to the upward facing dog position and then come back to downward facing dog. You can do a traditional chaturanga, which we just did, or you can simply hang out in child's pose. I like to just check in with my body and see what it needs at the time. You can change your mind. All right, so let's come back to our sun salutations. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of the mat, step, hop, or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, mountain pose, brings your hands all the way up. And then exhale, little back bend, lift the chest, send the eyes up towards the sky or ceiling. Inhale, mountain pose. And then exhale, fold. Inhale is halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your 2 feet back on the mat. Shift forward, exhale, lower down, and flow through your vinyasa. Inhaling for cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling for downward facing dog. All right, we'll move through that one more time, breath to posture. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, hop, or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Press the palms into the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Arms up high. Exhale, back bend, cactus the elbows, bend the elbows, lift the chest. Inhale, mountain pose. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, flow through your vinyasa. Lower down. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And take a breath in together. And exhale, open mouth. Take a breath in through the nose. This time, extend the tongue, open the mouth, lion's breath. Inhale through the nose, Ujjayi. And exhale, Ujjayi. Your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, hopper, jump, travel to the top of the mat. And we'll move on to the next part of class. So we're gonna do a little bit of a tricky transition here. So follow along, we'll do it a couple of times. I think this will work both hemispheres of our brains. And it's kind of fun. I've been trying it all day. So keep some water nearby. It's not gonna be too strenuous, I hope. So do what feels best to you. Okay, so from this halfway lift position, you're gonna exhale, fold, and plant your hands. And then step your right foot back on the mat and immediately leave your knee down and untuck your back foot. So you'll come into this low lunge position. Awesome. And once you feel rooted and stable, inhale, bring your hands above your head and lock your two front fingers. Allow the index fingers to point upward, and you can cross your thumbs. And then take a breath in and lift the chest. And as you exhale, start to gently lean over to the left. You're leaning over the leg that is forward. And this is actually just gonna keep you more stable. So we're going to this side first. Breathe, feel the stretch on the right side body. Root down into the earth for stability. And on an inhale, come back up. And exhale, bring the hands back down. On an inhale, find low lunge, press your toes into the mat, lift your knee. And then make sure that your feet are on two opposite tracks. And take a breath here. On your next inhale, find high crescent lunge, bring your hands up overhead. And press your back toes into the mat and allow your heel to come up high. You're going to allow your hips to point towards the front of the mat. So you want your left thigh bone pulled back into that socket and allow your right hip to float forward. And then engage your quadriceps, your upper thighs, so that it's almost like they have a magnet in between them. And that's gonna keep you more stable. Come back to your breath here. And on an inhale, reach up, and exhale, warrior two to the other side of your mat. You're gonna pivot your back foot, so it's now your front foot, and your back heel is down. And no worries if you go to the wrong side. We'll actually be doing a lot of this motion throughout the next series. So you're gonna get a workout on both sides, no matter what. With warrior two, you can allow your heels to be in parallel with each other, or your front foot can intersect with the back foot, meaning just that your front heel can be perpendicular with your back foot. Press into your lunge and allow your front knee to track over to the right side of your front foot, to the pinky toe side of your front foot. And this allows for external rotation. So allow your hips to square forward. And from there, lift your chest, stack your heart. Open your hands out wide, open your arms out wide, and gaze over your front middle finger. And breathe. The next little tricky transition. On an inhale, shift your weight forward. Pick up your back foot and exhale, find chair pose. So you're going to be sitting, well, you're going to be squatting with your 10 toes facing forward, feet together. And it's okay if you're not facing the camera anymore. Eventually we'll all be facing the same way. We'll just stay here for a couple of breaths. Make sure that you're pouring your weight into your heels. Take a breath to lift your chest and a breath to sit lower. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, fold forward, and breathe. Your next inhale, please step your left foot back onto the mat. And then immediately let your left knee come down and untuck your toe. So we're back on that lunge that we did at the beginning. Make sure that you feel nice and stable and rooted here. And then inhale, the hands up overhead. And then exhale, gently bend to the right. Feeling that side stretch on the left. On an inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, allow your hands to come down to the mat. Inhale, find your low lunge. Make sure that your feet are on opposite tracks. And take a breath here, make sure that you're stable. And then inhale, high crescent lunge. Lift the heart, bring the hands up overhead. Sit the pelvis down low. Press your back toes into the mat, lift your back heel. And breathe. Come back to that Ujjayi breath. In through the nose, and out through the nose. Now take a breath in. And exhale, warrior two to the other side of the mat. Yeah. So we're facing the opposite direction. And it doesn't quite matter which of your feet is forward. We'll get this stretch on both sides no matter what. Just come back to that warrior two stance. Allow the right hip to float forward and drag the left hip backward. Arms out wide. Send your eyes towards your front middle fingernail and breathe. Warrior two is a very strong posture. You're really taking up as much space as you can. You're rooted down into the earth. So if I were to come into your house and try and knock you over, I could not, largely because I'm not very strong in my arms, but also because you're doing a very good warrior two. All right. Inhale, bring your back foot up to meet your front. And then exhale, sit low. Chair pose. We'll be here for a couple of breaths. Take a peek down at your your toes. And then see if you can send your knees back just a little bit, not so much that you fall over. And if you're feeling this a lot in your shoulders, you can bring your hands to heart center. Yeah. Take a breath in here, and then exhale, fold forward. Awesome. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your hands back on the ground. And then this time, step your left foot back. And then allow your knee to come all the way down. We'll come back into that lunge. So we're kind of starting over, but on the other side. All right. I hope you're having fun with this because I am. Inhale the hands up overhead. And then exhale, bend towards the right. Or rather over that front lunge leg. And breathe. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, lower the hands back down to the mat. Inhale, press your back toe toes into the ground and lift your back knee. Take a couple of breaths to make sure that you are stable in your low lunge. And on your inhale, high crescent lunge. High lunge can be a bit of a balance challenge, so if you feel wobbly here, know that your mind is really just kind of like calibrating your balance for you. Take an inhale, lift up, and exhale, warrior two to the back of the mat. Awesome. So my left foot is forward now, and my right foot is back. I'm gonna re-engage my lunge. And don't worry if you got mixed up through all of this transition. Sometimes we get mixed up through transitions, but we usually find our way. And take a breath in here, and a breath out. Inhale, chair pose, bring your right foot up to meet your left, and sit low. And take a breath in, and exhale, fold forward. One last time, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Lower your knee down. Inhale your hands up overhead. And then exhale, bend to the left. Or whichever side you didn't do last time. Or whichever side you were on. Inhale back up to center. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, low lunge. Press your toe into the mat and lift your back knee. Inhale, high lunge. And exhale, warrior two to the front of the mat. Last step. Inhale, chair pose. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Your back foot up to meet the front. Chair pose, sit low. And then exhale, fold forward. Okay, take a little break for a sip of water. Or you can hang out in child's pose until we come back together. Grateful for you all sticking with me today through this little experiment. Zoom is super awkward to teach through, by the way, so I hope that you all can hear me super well. It sounds like you can all hear me. That sounds great. Good, good, good. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. All right. Okay, cool. All right, through our next set, we're gonna do some balancing poses. So when you're ready, come to standing on the back of your mat or blanket or whatever area you're at. So through quarantine, I've been doing a lot of roller skating, so balance is super important to me right now. But balance isn't just physical, balance is also very mental. And I think that when we practice balance on a yoga mat, it allows our brains to kind of have a chance to understand that we can figure things out. We can figure out how to stand on one leg. We can figure out how to do dancer's pose. We can figure out how to work with gravity so that it works with our bodies. All right, so you're standing at the back of your mat. You're gonna inhale your hands high and up like mountain pose. And then you're going to take a step forward. Inhale, lifting your back foot. It doesn't matter what side you're on. We're going to experiment. And very slowly hinge forward from your hips. And kind of extend your spine, extend your arms, extend your leg. You're kind of in this T shape. And it doesn't quite matter how high you can get your back foot. The idea here is to balance your torso and your floating foot on your standing leg. So really root that standing leg into the ground. And then you can play with the arms. You can bring the arms into the chest at hands at heart center. Or you could float the arms back behind you. And if you wiggle and fall out of this posture, just put your flying foot down. Let your body catch you. Let the ground catch you. You can experiment with this as much as you like. I'm kind of like a little plane right now. And wherever you are, please come back to your breath. Awesome. So from there, a little transition. We're going to bend our flying leg at the knee and bring it up and stand on our grounded leg. Yeah, I can touch my ceiling, which is actually kind of trippy. Right, so you're gonna flex your flying foot. And then if you like, you can cross your flying foot, your ankle, over your standing knee for a figure 4, right? And then bring your hands to heart center, and then bend your standing leg at the knee and start to sit. You can start to bring your elbows down towards your leg. If they're not quite getting there, don't stress about it. Wherever you are, find your balance and breathe. Sorry about that, that's my dog, he's very loud. And now inhale, stand on your standing leg, bring your knee back up. And then exhale, put your knee down, put your foot down. From here, we're gonna do one more balancing pose. We're gonna do dancer pose. So you keep your arms up and then drop your right arm down unless you're catching your left foot. So the side that you're going to balance, that you're not going to balance on, catch that with your hand. I really should have indicated which side, but I thought, a little freedom in yoga classes couldn't hurt anyone. All right. So you caught your back foot, and you're going to inhale, lift your chest, and then exhale, kick your foot into your hand, and then keep kicking your foot into your hand and hinge forward. And you're gripping the inside of your foot, the big toe side, and you're lifting your leg and you're kicking into your hand. Reach forward with this balancing hand and breathe. Dancer's pose is pretty challenging. Don't stress about where you are. If you feel any pain in your leg, in your knee, you can let it go. This is one that people are gonna fall in and out of all of the time, so just let that happen. Your mind is actually just trying to figure out how to work with gravity to keep you balanced. Okay, go ahead and drop your foot and wiggle it up. Awesome. Okay. We'll do the other side. So whichever was your flying leg last time is now your standing leg. My standing leg last time was my right. So the opposite of my standing leg last time is my right, so I'm just gonna do my left. All right. So inhale, mountain pose. And exhale, step forward. And start to tilt forward, bringing your back foot up. This is warrior 3. In some traditions, it's called balancing stick. This is also a warrior pose, but I find it very challenging because unlike warrior 2, you don't feel as stable because you're on one leg, but I think it's also a very strong pose because you're holding up most of your body with one leg, which is pretty impressive. That's pretty warrior-like to me. All right, your next inhale, bend your flying leg at the knee and bring it up. Thigh parallel with the mat and flex your foot. Great, now come to a figure 4. Crossing the ankle over the knee and start to sit low. Already, as I slowly sit down, I can feel my body wanting to pitch to one side. So this is where we're coming back to listening. Where is your body tending to go? And can you calibrate that? Can you balance that? If you're tending to flop over to the right a little bit, bring your body weight down on the left. Awesome. And then inhale, bring everything back up. And exhale, put your flying foot down. And I realize that I'm on the wrong side. So I'm gonna switch my feet. Hopefully you're all on the right side. Okay, dancer's pose. Arms up. And drop the arm that you're going to catch your foot with. And grip your foot. On an inhale, lift your chest, get nice and long. And exhale, kick your foot into your hand and tilt forward. Reach forward and breathe. Something that helps with balance is to choose a spot in front of you that is not moving and focus all of your attention to that spot. Don't worry about what the rest of your body is doing. Just focus on that spot and try to hold the posture as you focus and breathe. Okay, inhale, come up. And exhale, let it all out. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Whew. Awesome. Okay, we have about 10 minutes left in class. I'm gonna start our cool down. I keep thinking that we should try more things, but I feel like that was a lot for today. So go ahead and come down to a seat on your mat. And keep your knees bent. And the soles of your feet on the mat. And from here, roll all the way down onto your spine. And then pick up your right foot and place your right ankle over your left knee. So recline figure 4. And you can chill out here if this feels good to you. You can kind of use your standing leg as a lever, bringing your foot in closer to your pelvis if you like. Or you can interlace the fingers over the shin and pull the legs in towards the chest. Try to keep your sacrum, the triangle-shaped bone at the bottom of your spine. Try and keep the sacrum on the ground. And then if you like, you can twist the ankle, roll the ankle around, roll your right ankle around. You can rock back and forth on the spine. Just enjoy this kind of like hanging out at the beach posture. It's what I always picture when I do this pose. If there are cars passing by your house, if you can hear cars passing by, you can imagine that they are water, the ocean. Okay, and then go ahead and let the left leg down, let the right leg down. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then pick up the left ankle and put it over the right knee. And recognize that you might need something different on this side. Maybe this is enough for this side, or maybe you take that bind again. And you can also bring the hands underneath the knee if that feels better, or over the knee. And gently bring the legs in towards the chest. There's no need to like forcefully do this. You can actually just allow the weight of your hands to push down on the legs. Come back to that deep breathing. Try to ignore the sound of my dog barking. And when you're ready, you can let that go, bringing the soles of the feet back onto the ground. And you can windshield wiper the knees back and forth, rotating the legs and the hip joints, massaging the low back. From here, we'll work into bridge pose. So you're gonna keep your knees pointed up towards the ceiling or the sky. Press your feet into the ground. And then you can press your hands into the mat as you lift your pelvis up. And as you lift your pelvis, notice how it changes your breathing. From there, you can roll your shoulders underneath the torso, maybe interlace the fingers, creating that one fist, and press your hips up higher. We'll hold this for a breath. And exhale, let everything drop. All right. Next, we'll move into Supta Baddha Konasana. You're going to open your knees out wide and press the soles of your feet together, that familiar butterfly shape. And then just allow the knees to sink down towards the ground. Allow the sacrum to press into the ground, the spine to press into the ground. Press your shoulders into the mat. And something I like to do in this position is to place my hand over my heart and place my other hand over my belly. And just check in. Tune in with your heartbeat. Tune in with your breath. You can start to drop the Ujjayi breathing practice and come back into your natural breath. You can always play with the depth of this posture, bringing the feet in towards the pelvis or pushing them out longer for a longer diamond shape. This is actually going to activate the outsides of your legs. So the outside, you're going to feel the stretch in the outside legs with your feet further from your pelvis, and you'll feel the stretch more on the inside with the feet closer to the pelvis. At least that's how it is in my body. It might be different in yours. On an inhale, gently bring your knees back together. And then continue to bring your knees into your chest. And wrap your arms around your knees and rock from side to side. And as you come to the left side, gently drop your legs over to the left, stacking your right hip over the left hip for a supine twist. Open your arms out wide and send your gaze over towards your right hand. So your knees can be stacked on top of each other. And allow the legs to be pulled on by gravity. Allow the breath to slow. See, very relaxing posture. It's just something that's really good to do before bed if you're feeling a little restless. And on an inhale, you can bring the knees back into the chest. You can rock from side to side and then drop the legs off on the other side. And send your eyes over towards the left hand. Come back to your breath. Come back to your natural rhythm. And on an inhale, you can bring the knees back into the chest. And from here, I'm going to offer a little freestyle. So you can do whatever you like to do before final rest. A suggestion might be happy baby, that lovely posture where you are lying on your back and you grab for the bottoms of your feet, insides or outsides, and you can allow the roll of the spine back and forth. Bending the legs, pressing the feet up towards the ceiling. Take a couple of breaths to do whatever you need to do to round out your practice. And as you start to wind down, find a comfortable position. You can actually sit up if you like in a meditative position if that feels better for you. Or you can take traditional Shavasana and lay down on your back. I like to keep my arms out wide, maybe keep the legs out wide, allow the feet to flop open, really just taking up space and really prioritizing rest. This is actually a very difficult pose for a lot of people because it's difficult to stay still in a world that is constantly telling you to go. So for the next minute, I'm going to let you practice Shavasana in silence, and then I'll let you know when to come out. You can start to bring some light and life back into the body. Start to notice the sounds around you. Maybe wiggle the toes, the fingers. Maybe allow that energy to travel up the legs, into the arms. And take a big stretch like you're waking up from a nap. And then you can turn over to one side into the fetal position. The left side being the lunar, cooler side, and the right side being the solar, more active side. And just take a moment for gratitude. Gratitude towards the community that you're practicing with today. Gratitude for the great lineage of teachers and practitioners of yoga that came before us. Gratitude to your ancestors, for we would not be here without them. And gratitude to yourself for practicing and taking time for yourself today. And with that, you can roll up onto a seat. Take your time. And all of you are unmuted, or at least I'm trying to unmute you. Okay, cool. Thank you all for practicing with Liberation Flow today. My name is Chelsea. There are 6 Liberation Flow teachers, including myself. I'm terrible at counting, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And each of us bring a different thing to the table. So if you liked my class, you'll probably like the other classes, or you'll find a rhythm with a teacher that feels right for you. We hope to have lots of different offerings, so please give us feedback. That's most important. We really want to know how class went for you today. Give us feedback on when you like to practice. If you want to practice live with us, let us know what day, or weekdays, weekends, morning, evening, how that works for you. And we will also have some kind of time for community. If you want to ask any questions, you can go ahead and do that after class. I'm hoping to start conversations on our Instagram, so please, send us DMs, ask us questions. What else do I want to say? We are donation based, but as I said, we have a lot of allies sending us cash donations, and I don't feel the need to necessarily ask our POC audience to do that. But if you have a couple bucks, you can Venmo Liberation Flow. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. Again, please DM us, ask us questions on Instagram, and keep a lookout for more content. We'll be developing some information, some more educational stuff, maybe some more conversational stuff, and these Zoom classes. Otherwise, thank you so much for practicing with us. Peace.